Hi dear students, in the previous session we have seen the reproductive structures of male and female and we have discussed. In this sixth session, we are going to discuss a very difficult and confusing topic, that is process of gametogenesis. This diagram, that linear diagram, as you can see on this whiteboard, I made it for your convenience. If this diagram is prepared properly, then you will be able to write the process of gametogenesis both in male and female, and it will take more than 4 pages. Only you have to expand it. So I am now going to discuss about the process of gametogenesis. Gametogenesis is a process in which male and female gametes are formed. Dear students, during the embryonic development only, both boys and girls are having this spermatogonium and oogonium. It is already present in them during their embryonic development. Then this spermatogonium, you can see I have written here 2n. This 2n means number of chromosome here will be 46. And you know that this process is the process of sexual reproduction. Therefore, meiosis take place, and by this meiosis, this spermatogonium is getting converted into primary spermatocytes. These primary spermatocytes cells are further undergo division by meiosis and then forming secondary spermatocyte. Finally, this secondary spermatocyte undergo reductional or meiotic division, and as you know, in the meiosis there will be generation of 4 daughter cells. So here also 4 haploid spermatozoa will be formed that will develop soon into the sperms. As you can see here, this is the structure of a sperm, a human sperm. You can see at the anterior end there is a projection. That projection is known as acrosome. In class 10th also, you are knowing about this acrosome. It is fully filled with several type of enzymes. And you can see just below it, there will be a head consisting nucleus. And here you can see this portion. This portion is the middle part. This middle part consists a lot of mitochondria there. Here mitochondria will be there and it finally terminates into a cell. Presence of large quantity of mitochondria facilitate more active locomotion of this sperm. So this was about the process of spermatogenesis. Leave this portion. I will discuss this portion after discussing this oogenesis. Now the second process that is taking place in females is the process of oogenesis. As I told you, during the embryonic development, a fetus always consists this. A female fetus is always consisting this oogonium. No any type of oogonium formation will be there after taking birth. It is already present, and when it is present, it will be always in the state of diploid. It means again 46. Again 46 chromosomes will be there. Then this oogonia undergo meiosis and forming primary oocyte cell. Primary oocyte cell. Now this primary oocyte cell formed. Now you see primary, secondary and tertiary follicles. So always take care about this word. Oocyte I am talking about, and they are the follicles. When this primary oocyte is surrounded by one or two layers of granulosa, it is known as primary follicle. What happened? This primary oocyte surrounded by granulosa layer, and now it is being called as primary follicle. When this primary follicle is further getting surrounded by more layers, then it is known as secondary follicle. And when this secondary follicle will be there, it means, you mean what I am saying? I mean that this tertiary follicle is consisting this primary oocyte. Tertiary follicle is consisting primary oocyte. Primary oocyte was surrounded by some layers, then changed into primary follicle, more layers, then secondary follicle, and then when tertiary follicle will be formed, the characteristic property how you can recognize that this follicle is a tertiary follicle, there will be a fluid filled cavity. There will be a fluid filled cavity, and the name of this cavity will be antrum. The name of this cavity will be antrum. Now, this primary oocyte was already present in this tertiary follicle because it is only surrounded by layers and not at all. So, this primary oocyte in tertiary follicle undergo unequal divisions. And you see, they all are diploid, no? This is diploid, no? So there will be meiosis, and during the process of meiosis, 4 daughter cells are getting formed, and each are haploid, having n number of chromosome. Here it was having 2n chromosome. So as 2n chromosome, it means 46 chromosome will be there. And when it came in the stage of spermatozoa, it is getting haploid. So number of chromosome became what? 23. Number of chromosome became what? 23. The same will be there. Here also it will be 2n. It means 46. And here also it will be n. Haploid. So secondary oocyte formed. And this secondary oocyte will be surrounded with this Graafian follicles. This Graafian follicle is the mature state where this secondary oocyte forming one more layer, and this layer is known as zona pellucida. Zona pellucida. sida. Now this Graafian follicle will rupture, and after being ruptured, one new ovum will be formed. One new ovum will be formed. It is to be noted that ovaries are two, left and right. So if left ovary has given one ovum, then the next ovum will be released by the right ovary, not by the left ovary. Okay? Both ovaries cannot provide egg at the same time. First, if left has provided, then next time right will provide, like that. I made a diagram here also. This particular diagram represents about what we have discussed here. You can see this is a primary follicle. I made it surrounded by one layer. I have written PF. It means it is a primary follicle, which is consisting primary oocyte inside. When it is getting surrounded by more layers, then it became secondary follicle. Therefore, I have written SF. Now you can see a clear fluid filled cavity is there, and because this tertiary follicle is characterized by this fluid filled cavity known as antrum, the same can be seen here. I have written here TF. It means tertiary follicle. Now this is Graafian follicle, became more larger, filled with nutrients to provide nutrition to the growing ovum, and now this is known as Graafian follicle. This Graafian follicle is getting ruptured here, you can see, and by the rupture of this Graafian follicle, ovum formed. Ovum formed. After discussing both the process of spermatogenesis and oogenesis, I would like to discuss hormonal control on them. How the hormones are controlling them, what is happening with them. Let us see. When both boys and girls are reaching to their puberty state, this puberty state may differ. Puberty comes in girls earlier. So, in the puberty state, when they both are reaching, they are releasing gonadotropic releasing hormone or GnRH. GnRH. This GnRH will activate the anterior pituitary lobe, and this pituitary gland, as you know, that pituitary gland is the master gland in our body. It is located here at the back of our brain. Now this pituitary gland will release two types of hormones, luteinizing hormone and FSH hormone. Luteinizing hormone and FSH hormone. So luteinizing is represented by LH, and this follicle stimulating hormone is shown or represented by this FSH. This luteinizing hormone activate leading cell, and these leading cells consist a male hormone called androgen, and this androgen will activate the process of this spermatogenesis. In the same way, these follicle stimulating hormone will release estrogen. What? Estrogen. Female hormone, estrogen. And this estrogen will govern or will control overall process of this oogenesis in the case of females. With this explanation about the process of gametogenesis, I am going to stop this video. In the next video, I will discuss about the process of menstruation cycle and further development. Till then, thank you for watching video. Thank you very much.